Welcome to week 4 of Interpersonal Effectiveness. This video is all about making simple requests. And simple requests are a skill we use when the objective is more important than the relationship or than your self-respect. So they're really focused on when you want to get what you want to get. Before I get into detail of the skill, I'd like you to do a small imaginative exercise. So imagine that suddenly you've become somebody who can get people to do whatever they want. All you have to do is ask and it will be done. When you were asking for something from someone you loved, how would you go about that? Would you ask in a way that was short and terse and demanding? Or would you ask in a way that was relaxed and calm and easy-mannered? Would you be validating and affirming in your request and let the person know why you're asking them? Or would you just say, do this, and know that it will be done? Lots of us, when we sit with that, are like, well, if it's someone I love, then I would want to make sure they felt good about doing the thing too, especially if I had mind control powers to make sure people did whatever I wanted. And the simple request technique is really a way of helping us to ask for things in that kind of generous and validating and affirming way. And that's great in two ways. So for those of us who have a really passive style of solving interpersonal problems, the simple request gives you a template for actually asking for things. And for asking for things in a way that is gentle and kind and generous and is likely to be much more effective than just abandoning yourself and never asking for anything. For those of us who have a more aversive approach and who are more demanding and more overwhelming, make more emotional requests and put lots of pressure on people, the simple request is a way of reducing the intensity of emotion and pressure that you're putting on people and asking in a way that's more likely to help them to feel good about you at the end of receiving a request, whether or not they actually do what you want. So you may still, at times, want to use your passive or your aversive strategies because they could be effective in the situation that you're in. This is giving you an option to use when there's something that's not too emotionally heavy and you want to make a request that also helps people to receive it well. So this is the form. The simple request form only has 4 parts, and I think that's part of its beauty. It's really straightforward, and although it's clunky the first few times that you use it because you're scripting what you're going to say, it's also a very clear and simple way of making an effective request. So it starts with that brief description of the situation, what's going on. And that might be, it's been a while since we've eaten today. Or, I'm feeling hot out here in the sun. Or something entirely different. It's been a while since we began our divorce agreement and property prices have changed between then and now. It can be used for lots of different things that are not ones that you want to go into emotional depth with. And that's more for Dear Man. We're doing that later today. So you start off with a brief description, and this is the observe and describe skills that we used in the first week. Just a very simple, usually 1-line description of what the situation is in this moment. Once you've done that, you begin with a soft start to your request. So the specific beginning words that you're going to use would be, would it be okay with you? Or would you mind? Or I would find it really helpful if you do whatever it is. So this is a way of softening that request and helping people to interpret you as generously as possible, as being kind or considerate or interested in them as well as whatever it is that you would like. Then you make the actual request. So that's the third part. Just asking for a specific action, what you actually want. And this could be, please will you put the new figures on the house value into the divorce agreement? Or could we go inside because I'm overheating? Or can we stop for something to eat? Those kinds of just simple, this is the action I want us to take right now. And then we end with appreciation and reinforcement. So the last part of it is, your cooperation is going to help me in this way. So, for example, if it's, today it's really hot and I'm feeling overheated, would you mind if we went inside so that I can cool down? I'd really appreciate that because I'm enjoying spending time with you, and I'd like to have a conversation that I feel more engaged in than I'll be able to if we stay out here and I'm really hot. So it's reinforcing what this is going to do for you, not justifying or explaining why you need it necessarily, but just saying, this is how your cooperation is going to assist me. And this is incredibly effective for situations like doctor's offices, or when you're trying to get something from a customer service person, or when you're trying to engage with your partner and get them to do something that you would prefer. So that's it. A simple request. I suggest when you're practicing this, you start by scripting a few common situations or something that you would like to bring up but that you haven't yet. And you might find, if you're somebody who has an aversive problem-solving approach to interpersonal situations, that there are lots of things that you could bring up. It's usually helpful to think about one or two and just reflect on how it goes once you've done it. If you're a person who has a passive approach to problem solving interpersonally, it may seem like there aren't any situations where you'd actually like to make requests. But that's actually unlikely to be true, and it's unlikely to be effective in your life. So it could really help to notice, are there any areas where I'm feeling frustrated or resentful about the way things are going interpersonally? Is there anything I would like to be different? And start formulating some requests around those things. So that's all for simple requests.